Good morning, citizens of the universe, from the Fun Squad Central Command in the beautiful and serene Fort Lyon, Colorado. We bring you yet another worldwide global transmission. If you're receiving this transmission, you are the Fun Squad. Thank you for joining us on this Friday the 13th, a special edition day of April. It's Friday the 13th. Welcome. Today has been a busy day. All week has been a busy week since my last transmission to you, which was on Tuesday. I've been doing a lot. The first thing that I did was, let's see, Wednesday I got my coin and my keychain for NA, and so here's the coin. Oh, I've got pictures here. I have a slideshow prepared for you, so you can see the coin. And so we're gonna be done. And so there's the coin for 90 days Friday that I got at my NA meeting, and then I've also got that's the AA coin, I guess I should say. And then the NA, they give you, the keychain. So that's what the keychain looks like. And then, I'm trying to read my damn, teleprompter here, free here. So, I'm trying to play it right here. So, so I got those Wednesday night, and then, I went to, NA here with Dave, my sponsor. I met him at his house in La Junta, and then we drove in here together and had the NA meeting, and then we went back home, and then let's see, I'm trying to think. Also Wednesday I took some pictures of the cats and stuff like that, which I have video and pictures of. I'll show you in a minute. Well, the video is up on the Facebook, or up on the YouTube. I do have a couple of pictures here of Cleo, the mother cat. But first I wanted to share with you, since it's Friday the 13th, I thought today's NA reading, just for today reading, was especially poignant because it was talking about people pleasing, approval-seeking behavior carried us further into our addiction. That's from page 107 of the NA basic text. When others approve of what we do or say, we feel good. When they disapprove, we feel bad. Their opinions of us and how those opinions make us feel can have positive value. By making us feel good about steering a straight course, they encourage us to continue doing so. People-pleasing is something else entirely. We people-please when we do things, right or wrong, solely to gain another person's approval. Low self-esteem can make us think we need someone else's approval to feel okay about ourselves. We do whatever we think it will take to make them tell us we're okay. We feel good for a while. Then we start hurting. In trying to please another person, we've diminished ourselves and our values. We realize that the approval of others will not fulfill the emptiness inside us. The inner satisfaction we seek can be found in doing the right things for the right reasons. We break the people-pleasing cycle when we stop acting merely to gain others' approval and start acting on our higher power's will for us. When we do, we may be pleasantly surprised to find that the people who really count in our lives will approve all the more of our behavior. Most importantly, though, we will approve of ourselves. Very important, I think, to understand that. And so the just for today saying is, higher power, help me live in accordance with spiritual principles. Only then can I approve of myself. And I just think that that's really especially poignant today, because we were talking about approval. We were talking about that actually on Facebook, because there's this new study out that says that people on Facebook, the reason why they're addicted to it so much is because when somebody likes you or whatever, smiles or happy face or likes you or friends you, you get this little dopamine gets released in your brain and you feel great. And that's why people are constantly on Facebook and looking for that sort of attention. So I thought that was just appropriate, because we were talking about that the other day. So And then let's see, I'm trying to think what I wanted to say next. The cats in La Junta are doing well. I got some video of them, as I told you, it's on the YouTube. I don't have the video here for you today. I was just going to show you a couple pictures of Cleo. She's doing great. Mom is doing great. She is, we're trying to start to wean the kittens off of her and onto, wet food. So, I hope that, she gets them weaned soon. We thought she might be going back into heat, which, sometimes happens. But I don't think that's the case after all, so thank God for that. She's starting to act like she's going back into heat right away, and I've read somewhere that happened, so I hope that doesn't happen with her. Then let's see. I wanted to show you something else. I was talking to you guys about the Ben Garrison thing, and so Ben Garrison is a a self-described rogue cartoonist, and he does these political satire cartoons, which I find some of them quite hilarious because he really is kind of funny. He does a lot of different stuff on presidents and Facebook lately, and everything that's in the news. And he's anti-globalist, anti-Illuminati, and he's down for exposing all of the corruption and the shadow government, the deep state, Illuminati, whatever you want to call them. I call them the globalists, but they're all the same word for the same groups of peoples and entities out there. And without getting into too much of the research behind it, he does his own research, and so his cartoons speak for himself. And so I think that's great that he does that. So the other things I wanted to tell you about were, besides the Ben Garrison thing, I did see Raylan, my counselor, again on Thursday. That went well. We just talked about, my core beliefs. Well, he tries to help me process, my old thinking into new thinking, because, and we were talking about this in Dual Recovery today, you can't think your way into recovery. You have to act your way out of recovery. And so you do that by, practicing new things and doing things that are different that you're not used to doing. And that's why recovery is so difficult, because it takes, practice. And people don't want to practice. People just, want to read a book or take a pill or something and hope that they're, magically cured. So Raylan, he always helps me process my own thinking into new thinking. One of these great examples you can use is that he showed me was, radical acceptance. Just go with radical acceptance. Radical acceptance is when, you just accept something even though you hate it, you don't like it, but it is what it is, and you just move on with life. Just accept it and move on. And so that's what I have to do all the time, because I don't like this system, and I don't like that system, and I don't like any of these control systems. I don't like the monetary system. I don't like any of it. Never wanted to be any of it. That's why I've avoided it for 30 years. And that's what's gotten me into trouble, is because I haven't wanted to deal with it. Now I'm 52, and I'm sort of having to, answer to all these shit packages that I've been mailing myself. So now they're all coming, they're all coming in the mail now, all at once. So, and now I'm having to deal with it and just practice radical acceptance. Which, like I said, is something I don't like. But I do it anyway, because that's the only way I'm going to change. I must practice radical acceptance if I'm going to change. I have to remain open-minded and remember that, all of this is going to pass. And I don't have to believe everything that I think. Just because you think something doesn't mean you have to believe it's true. You know, because it's probably not true. So, you know, so I have to remember that. Let's see, I'm trying to think. I'm getting about 10 minutes into this. The other thing I wanted to talk about was, you know, we had dual recovery today, and we had the community meeting. The dual recovery was interesting because that was with Phil, and so he gave us he always gives us something interesting to read, and this is from the Terence Gorski book called Relapse Prevention, and basically the exercise for today was it's a thought statement. So it just says, you know, I know I'm in trouble with my recovery when X happens. Fill in the X. So for me, the X was, I know I'm in trouble with my recovery when I start missing the old people, places, and friends that I used to hang out with, because that's what's got me in trouble before. And so we talked about that. When I experience this warning sign, I tend to think, you know, that it'll be okay this time, that I'm just going to visit him for a while. And then it says, what are the 3 thoughts that can cause you to manage this warning sign in a way that makes things worse instead of better? Now, I thought this was an interesting question. What are the 3 thoughts that cause you to manage this warning sign in a way that makes things worse? So, the 3 thoughts that come to my mind immediately are, I'm just gonna, have a couple of drinks and I'll be all right this time, and nothing bad's gonna happen, and not the end of the world's not gonna happen, and I'm just lonely, I just want to say hi, all these things. And thinking, and what is another way of thinking that would be more helpful? Well, I didn't fill that part out, but I'm filling it out right now. The way of thinking that would be more helpful to me would be, in my mind, to review the DVD, the Life DVD. That's what supercharged me to go ahead with the book again, because I think if I review the DVD, the instant replay, that'll refresh my memory, because I'm a forgetter. I always forget, how truly bad things get, in a very short period of time. It's like 10 times worse now whenever I relapse. I go out and bam, now I've lost everything that it's taken me years to get, and I've lost it all in less than a day, it seems like. So it's amazing how this disease is truly progressive. So in that way, so I have to review that DVD, and that always helps me snap out of that one. Let's not go there again, because I had reviewed the DVD, and remember how it worked out last time, and the time before that, and the time before that, and the time before that. So how many times do you need, to review it before you get, that was a foul play? I heard a lot of good things today in dual recovery, and also in relapse prevention. I wanted to touch on it briefly. We have relapse prevention right after dual recovery. And so, excuse me, and that's with Jason. He's a case manager here. He has credentials. He is one of the few case managers here that has credentials. And I just thought it was interesting because, he's an interesting guy. I just want to show you real quick. It's 46 degrees here. It is raining here, and has been raining for a couple of days, and it's supposed to be cold and rainy here. The sunrise for this morning was at 6:19 a.m., which I did not get to see because it was overcast, and the sunset is set for 7:27 this evening. Tomorrow is supposed to be better for us, however, though, so hopefully I'll be able to get to ride my new bike, which I showed you the pictures of before. So, okay, so back to, because I forgot that. That's why I wanted to throw that in there. Back to the relapse prevention. So, today in the relapse prevention, we talked about the middle recovery period. We've talked about the the pre-recovery period, the beginning recovery period. Now we're talking about the middle recovery period. And it just says real briefly, during the middle recovery period, the primary goal is lifestyle change. You have established an addiction-centered lifestyle, a lifestyle that requires the use of addictive chemicals in order to manage the stress that has resulted from the addiction. In early recovery, your addictive lifestyle was replaced by a structured recovery program that was developed by treatment people, helping you begin recovery. In middle recovery, the challenge is to gradually develop a normal, balanced lifestyle that is sobriety-centered. You are well and stable. You have worked through the issue of acceptance of your addiction. You are ready to reduce your hours in therapy and establish a pattern of normal living. Instead of focusing on not using, you focus on normal life issues, your job, and your family. As an addicted person, it is typical for you to establish an addicted-centered lifestyle, even though you are now abstinent. This is accomplished by using other addictions in the place of the original addiction. The goal is to establish a balanced lifestyle that is addiction-free and based upon sobriety-centered values and activities. Balanced living involves a recovery program that is active but less intense than in early recovery. It includes work activities, family activities, social activities with family and friends, time for development and recreation, and time for proper exercise and diet. Managing stress and resisting the urge for substitute addictions are important issues in middle recovery. And we also talked about 5 tips, you can't see it probably, but 5 tips for recovering without a 12-step program. And so, he just wanted to briefly touch upon this, and it was very interesting. And I knew this already, that's why I do other things besides NA and AA. Because eventually, you get, you kind of grow out of those, or I do. And so, there are other alternatives. And so what I try to do is have a mixture of all of them. Try to have like a well-balanced diet of all this different kind of stuff. Because it really does help to have a lot of tools in your arsenal. If you can't find an AA, NA meeting, maybe you can just call somebody, or maybe you can do some breathing exercises, or maybe you can pray, or maybe you can meditate, or maybe you can go for a bike ride. There's lots of different things we can do to break our minds out of that sort of addictive thinking. So that's all I have that I wanted to share with you. This is getting a really long show tonight. I hope it was somewhat entertaining. So I will talk to you all in a couple of days, and I hope you all have a great weekend. Happy Friday the 13th, okay? Bye-bye.